Good afternoon guys, I have some updates on what is going on at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Now first out, massive thank you to Steve for sending me these pictures. He regularly sends me what is going on because, well, as you know, it's not exactly on my doorstep. But I've got a number of pictors to talk through today, including some exciting developments towards the end of this video, so make sure you stay till the end. Right, so the first thing we have got here is Ice Blast slash Launchpad. As it stands right now, it doesn't look like there's been a huge amount of change since the last time we saw this. Obviously we know it's being painted. There's still no signs of that new pressure cylinder anywhere on site, so hopefully that turns up soon. I don't think the park has confirmed, but there's an expectation this will be open for the opening day in March, so I don't know how long it takes to install the pressure cylinder, but hopefully it is something that they can do pretty quickly. Now the next thing that I got pictures of was that they seem to be doing some painting slash touch up over at Avalanche. Not the easiest angle to get from outside the park, so apologies, these pictures are a little bit blurry, but you can definitely see a little paint can there and the guy with the ladder. So whether that is just a general tidy up or whether there's going to be some new painting of some description on Avalanche, who knows, but clearly that ride is hanging around for quite some time. Then moving over a little bit, we've got the Big Dipper. Now I think the last time I did an update on this, it was mentioned that the brakes have been removed. They are still removed. In fact, I've got pictures of the brakes in the car park. I'm curious what's happening here, whether this is literally just standard winter maintenance and they're just, you know, checking those brakes and putting maybe, do they have brake pads? That's a car, right? Whatever it is that they put in there, putting that in, or whether this is actually an upgrade to the control system. As many of you know, this typically runs on 2 trains, but ran on 1 train for quite some time towards the end of the season. So maybe they're doing some upgrades here that will get it back onto 2 trains again for the new season, and fingers crossed, a slight update to the control system, because it's one of the 2 coasters that is still on manual brakes. So if they can sort that out, then happy days. Might even mean that the lift hill doesn't slow down, because for those of you that don't know, when I did the Walk the Woody, basically if the second train isn't at a certain point, hasn't come into the station yet, or isn't in the loading position, and the first one's on the lift will slow down and sometimes stop whilst it waits on that train to catch up. So because it is a manual braking system, they've said to me that it literally needs to be, it's like a rhythm. They need to be going at a certain pace, and if something skips a beat, then that's when it'll pause and let it kind of catch back up again. So again, if that was an automated system, it would probably be a little bit easier for them. So that then leads us over to the exciting part that I alluded to at the start of this video, and that is that there is some signs of work over by the Bowladrome slash planetarium. There's a lot of stuff being cleared out of that planetarium and is currently sitting in the car park around the back. So that to me sounds like they are making some progress, and we will soon see some demolition on that Bowladrome. Now of course the one thing that we've all said is, well, are we getting this new flat ride? Obviously there was documents, I shared them myself, about the Intamin gyro coming to Blackpool, but then at the same time the loan that was borrowed was paid off quite quickly. I've heard people say it's definitely happening, it's going in the Bowladrome. I've heard people saying it is scrapped, it is not happening. So I'm curious, if this is happening, will it happen for the new season, and certainly will it be at the start or will it be later on? Flat rides don't take too long to install, but obviously they've got to demolish the Bowladrome, they've got to clear away all that land, you know, level it off, set in the footers, etc. If you look at Project Ocean over at Alton Towers, they spent months and months building that kind of groundwork, and then took them like 2 or 3 days to slap the ride up. Like, it doesn't take long. The fact that this is something they've got stuck into straight away does make me think that, you know, they're on a bit of a timeline here, because, you know, they're literally just back from their kind of Christmas break, and then they're straight into this. So fingers crossed we actually start seeing some demolition very soon. And that'll just kind of further tie into it. And obviously if we start seeing ride hardware turning up, well, that is fantastic news. There is one possibility here, and I guess that is, you know, all these manufacturers, Intamin particularly, right, they're like a hot ticket right now. Everybody's wanting Intamin rides, flat rides, roller coasters, the whole shebang. So, you know, it's difficult to get a hold of them and get that confirmation. So it could very well be something simple like, you know, if you want this ride for next week, you have to book it today. And they're like, all right, well, we're going to have the money in 2 days' time or a week's time, short-term loan. So, you know, just because it was a short-term loan doesn't necessarily mean that this isn't happening. Again, from what I've heard from the sources that gave me the pictures, they were speaking to sources there. It's all Chinese whispers, but effectively it does seem to be full steam ahead on ripping this down, and it doesn't sound like it's going to take them too long. So just hoping that they can rip it down, clear it out as I said, and then get it prepped for what is coming, because they obviously have to put a ride cab in, and to get all the electrics sorted out, put the footers in, and then chuck this thing up. So you know, it's now what, the first week in January, park opens middle of March, so they've got what, about 8 weeks, 9 weeks at a push to kind of get this completely done. It's feasible, it is feasible, but they're obviously doing a whole pile of other things as well, so curious to see. So I'm curious what your thoughts on this one are, and whether or not you think this is going ahead, and if it is going ahead, when will it happen? Will it be for opening day? Will it be later on? As I say, I will be there in a couple of weeks' time for the kind of midterm break to just see what's going on. But if you want to know what else I'm doing this year, take a look at this video here for my 2025 plans. I'll see you over there.